Hi everyone, so in this video what I'm going to do is show you how I use volume and price trend to trade really short-term time frames if there is any opportunity. So over here, what I have here is a volume profile here on the left and I have the price on the right. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, because I have a bias here on the ES, I don't want to be speaking through something where I already know where the price is kind of going. So what I'm going to do is let's just create a new sandbox for Europe. Let's do the DAX, and we'll create a chart for this now. So DAX, we'll get the index up there. We'll get the futures as well. I might even get the ETFs up, but let's just look at this for now. So the June future on the DAX. So we're going to look at this. And I want to see if I could trade this right now and get a buy. So I'm going to be talking out my thinking, and hopefully in the next 5 to 10 minutes, without analysis paralysis, we are going to try and make a decision on where we're going with this. Okay, so the first thing I do is get the four-hour chart up. We'll get the volume visible range. Now, what I don't like is these kind of red and blue bars. It's not really truly indicative of buys and sells. So what I usually do is get rid of that and just go straight for totals. So now we've got a better indication of what's happening with price. Now, in very simple terms, where the volume is thick, i.e. around here, these longer horizontal bars, that just simply tells you that there is more chop, more activity around these sort of levels, where the price is going to kind of come in and out of that range. And there'll be there's a little fight going on between buyers and sellers at this level. So that's why volume increases, and you get something called chop, where the market needs to decide who's winning on this. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is, so that's the first thing I look for. And where the volume's thin like this, like here, what that suggests is that there's little resistance, and the trend is your friend at these kind of volume profiles. Okay, so we're just going to use those for now. Park that in one box because I'm going to open up another box as well, and we're also going to get your moving averages. Okay, moving averages are so underrated, and I think they're brilliant for just an indication on overextension and potential mean reversions. Okay, so don't worry about simple strategies. Okay, they do work. I use the 20 moving average. 20 moving average means 20 periods, 20 bars. It doesn't mean 20 days moving average. It means 20 bars. And I'm also going to add in the 200 moving average as well. I actually also have the 300 sometimes and the 400, but I'm going to do that in another video. For now, we will just explain. So that's the 200. The 200 for me is always purple pink color here, and we'll make that quite thick. And then we have the 20, which we'll keep as blue, get that thick. Now, this is just a soft indication in the background of pricing behavior. What I'm going to do now, so this is the 4-hour chart. We know, as I said, the thicker bars here, the longer horizontal bars here show a lot of chop activity. That it's actually a good place to trade as well sometimes if you want to open up range bound option strategies as well. You can make a lot of money doing that, but I'm not going to talk about that just yet. We're going to look for this bar here, this thin bar. Okay, but because I want to do this in a quicker time frame, okay, actually hold that thought. You could see here the volume is quite thin, right? So as long as we get some higher highs like we're beginning to see here, as long as we get this kind of trajectory and that continues, the price is just going to kind of like shoot right through this level here. So there is still potential, as you can see, for about 15 points before we decide to buy. So this is a potential buy information right here at the price of 24290. Okay, only because of this thin volume bar over here. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. So Okay, anyway, what I was going to say now is we're going to come back to the 5-minute chart and let's take a look at this profile there. Same principle, okay? But generally now we have a bias saying, okay, look, everything seems to be, there's a little resistance here at the top. Things might be going north. There's positive sentiment in the USA. So everything's kind of looking like it's going up with little resistance. So we'll go to the 5-minute chart. Let's see if we can marry that up. I'm going to move this to the side just to get a bit of a different view. Now, you would have seen those bars change, right? When I move this out of when I move this to the left, that's because these bars only consider what's in view at the moment, okay? So this is looking brilliant. It's reaffirming what I said at the 4-hour level. We're now in a range of chop, right? So where the price behavior is, price is just really just finding itself to see uh, who's likely to win here between buyers and sellers. We have got potential higher highs forming here. Okay, we've got little resistance over here relative to a 5-minute term. And is that enough to start buying? For me, possibly. I would like a little less resistance here. Let's get some more bars and see if that's still true. It is true. Yeah. So I'm now going to take it to a lower time frame and we're going to probably execute if the story is still true. So the story is still true. We have potentially higher highs here. We have a mean reverting 20 going into the 200. So you've got that upside here. I'm not happy with the area over here, and I'll explain that. What I'm not happy about, hey, let's get a smiley here. Let's get a downward smiley. I'm not happy about this. So where are we? Don't skip. Okay. Here's what I'm not happy about. This area here is a not happy area. Why? Because the space, actually that's a bit immature. The space is too wide in this area here. Okay, so I'm not happy about that. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start buying. We're going to start. We're going to wait for a mean reversion. Sorry. Oh goodness me. I've done it now, and I get rid of that. It won't go. Oh God. Right. Anyway, I'm stuck with this boy now. Anyway, I don't know how to get rid of these. There is a way to remove. Here we go. Right. So what I'm going to say, sorry, I need to slow down a bit. Let's wait for some pullback. If we get a little bit of a pullback, oh, okay, look, it looks like we're getting that high highs. We're going to probably go through the 200. I'm happy with anywhere between, yeah, I'm happy to go with this now. I'd want some more confirmation above this level here. But the issue is I've got someone at the door now, so I need to finish this video, otherwise it's been a waste of time. So I'm going to go ahead and buy at this level. In fact, what we'll do is put an order here, over here, least resistance, put an order to buy. Let's just do one. That order's placed. Oh, it's filled. How did that fill? Oh, it's filled. Brilliant. So we'll pause the video now and just wait and see. So we are in at 24288. Right, everyone, so we're back now. Going to do a quick review of what's happened over the last 48 minutes or so. We got in at this level, 24288. What's been happening since? Now, look, this was supposed to be, this is a 2-minute trade, okay? So it is supposed to, this is a trade on a 2-minute time frame, and we were only supposed to be in this for 5, 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes. That's the outlook you have on these kind of trades. You're in, you're out. Okay, it could continue to go up, but that's not the intention of the trade. The intention of the trade was to be short term. So would I have got out right at this peak? Probably, but it was forming higher highs. And what we had here, we had a little less resistance in the volume profile. So I would have been encouraged to hold, but we do have this area of chop here on a 2-minute basis. And that shows me that, look, we're going to have 2, 3 greens, we're going to have a few reds, we're going to have greens, we're in greens now, we might get some more reds as the fight continues over here. Now, the question I have at this stage is, okay, is the fight going to continue over here? Or are we just going to go straight up to make yet another high? So what I would do, so there's 2 points to this argument, because the trade started just for, a short time frame. I would have, let's argue, look, let's say I got out over here, right? That's 12 plus 12, that's 24 points. So I think we're comfortable. I'm not saying I would have got out right at the top, but let's say I could have got out around here. That's a common level, and boom, I would have done okay, right? It is simulated trading, by the way, so I can afford to just keep this open and take the risk. So that would have got me something like 25 euros. Remember, this is one lot position, okay? They're tiny. But that's still for a 2 minute basis, it's a decent little number. Anyway, and I'm going to show you ways later how to make even more money on these using 0 days to expiry options. But for now, we're just going to keep watching that. All right, so uh, now I could just keep talking as if I was going to hold for a long period of time. It's very important that I'm honest throughout my thinking and I'm objective and not trying to fool myself. Hence why I'm looking at the DAX, because if I looked at the S&P, I have a bias in that. I understand that market. The DAX I hardly ever look at, and this is, I didn't know how to get it in my simulated trading. That's how long it's been. So it's a really raw outlook that I've got here. Now, the explanation as to why we're seeing this this kind of rip over here is because there's no resistance on the profile. There's thin volume. There's a lot more acceptance of a price hike. So on that basis, we're going to see this. Now, I want to see what's happening on a 30-minute view. Is on a 30-minute view, that will tell me more about how much upside potential there is. And this is brilliant, right? Because what we could see is that going further up, there's a lot more acceptance for prices to potentially rise. Now, there's other factors that go into this. Look, whilst I haven't got it live on the DAX, I do generally keep an Excel spreadsheet on the side, which is API'd into the IBKR backend. It gives me a few more metrics, but nothing too complicated. Nothing more complicated than tell me what the gap is like between the 20 moving average and the current overextension. It gives me percentile rankings on the 20 moving average. I will do another video on that if there's interest in this channel. As it starts to grow, I'll start investing more time into it. But anyway, this was really more experimental to show you that you can just use volume profiles to make money in this market. And as I said, the DAX is quite new to me. Look, leave a comment and tell me if you want me to look at another market. If I have access to it, I'll get it up, I'll look at the volume, and we'll do it live. But can you see how we rip through on low volume, how acceptance takes through on low volume? I won't show you on a 30-second period, that's a bit too insulting, but we could see it happening here. So I know from my comments, I know that the 30 minutes, I know there is potential upside from here as well. Let's get that down. Where are we? I'm going to increase the range, just get a bit more in view to see if there's anything happening on other. Yeah, look, we're going to achieve another high in a bit. Let's see what it's like on a 1 hour. Yeah, I think we're going to test these kind of levels. So we're at that test point now. I'm happy just closing that out. So what we'll do is here, close, transmit,
autofilled,
done, right? So 54. I'm happy with that. Now the question is, so that's banked in simulation. It's not real, unfortunately. But we're going to now keep seeing what would have happened. And what I'm going to do now is just pause the video, maybe return in about sort of 10-15 minutes, maybe an hour, however long it takes, to see what this could have done, and then we'll review the profile after that. But I just wanted to show you that, look, on a 2-minute basis, 1 hour max. We've taken 1 hour. We could have done something. We could have got 50. We could have got the 25 points in 10-15 minutes as planned. But this is a credible strategy. So I just wanted to wrap up on this because it's several hours in the day. And You will recall from earlier on in the video that I spoke about this 30-minute view that was looking very positive, right? And I was saying, oh, right, there's hardly any volume up here. And as long as we keep breaking those highs and getting higher highs, we're going to just rip through these volume layers. And that's precisely what happened. So you'll recall, again, you just need to rewind this video. You'll recall that we got in at what level? It was about, oh, here it is, 24288, was it? Again, it's about 3 hours ago, and I think it was here. Oh, I've got the level here. So it was this one, 24288 is where we got in, right? And you will recall I said, look, the 30-minute is just looking thinner and thinner on the volume. As long as we kind of knock through those levels and get higher highs, we're going to be good. And that's what happened. So we go back down to the 2-minute. We take a little bit of an exploration of what's going here. Is there still potential? And there is still potential. There is still kind of 2.5 hours. No, Europe is 1.5 hours left in the trading day. So we could potentially just be crawling up and up unless we see some breach. Again, now we've got a little bit of activity here. You know, it seems to be a rich zone. You could see all over here some chop going on, and just range, finding its price, finding the range. But if the sellers are not as active or as visible in this area, it's just going to go on to the next level, 244 plus, and then go another 10-15 points. So had we held on and had faith in that 30-minute horizon, well, I wasn't in a position. It wasn't the intention of the video, right? I'll say that again. But had we done that, it would have been, the strategy would have added up. Trade into thinning profiles, trade into those thinning zones, as long as you're getting higher highs. And now there's more to it. You can now use other indices to then determine whether or not you are likely to get those higher highs. But that I'm going to cover in another video. Please like, please subscribe. This channel should only get better. I'm here to also test some of the strategies you want to put to me. A very practical trading. You know, I'm using interactive brokers. We don't use these gamified solutions out there where you just buy, sell, and you're randomizing your trade. There is a lot of depth to this platform. You could do a lot of fantastic things that you can't do on some of these platforms you see advertised everywhere. So careful with a lot of the other brokers. There is just really a handful of credible brokers which here in the UK we have access to. So I could do a review on that as well. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. We'll stay in touch.